Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Nelly and this is Naledi BDSM, a channel where I am here to share my love of BDSM and everything that has to do with sex and every other content related to that. So guys, today I'm going to share with you what I do when I look for or what I look for in a potential BDSM partner. Guys, if you are in the BDSM community, it can be very hard to find someone who's into the same thing as you or try and get someone to transition to be in the same lifestyle as you. It can be very, very hard. So I'm going to share with you the things that I personally do or I personally look for. I apologize, I don't have any makeup on today. It's a hot day and I don't feel like putting on makeup. So let's start with the tips that I personally look for when I am looking for a partner. Remember guys, BDSM people are not cookie cutters, just like how vanilla people are not cookie cutter. Like vanilla people like different things. It's the same thing with the sub and dom community as well. We have different likes and dislikes, and what I like is not going to be what goes on for the next person. And I cannot tell you what a dom is and what a sub is straight out, and you'll find all of those things that I mentioned in the next person. So let's go on with the list. The first thing that I look for is, I ask the question is, what type of, I hope you guys could not hear the background noise. But I asked the question is, what's your favorite movie sex scene? Like, think about it right now. If you were to think about all of your favorite movie sex scene, what is one thing that is common about them? Like, what type of taste do they have? Are they all like emotionally involved? Are they sensual? Like, what kind of sex scene are they into? Or is the other person being bullied, or another person being humiliated? Like, it just try and think about it. So once you have thought about this, or once they have described this to you, it then tells you what they're into. You kind of like, it helps you find their flavor. It helps you find what makes them go. Because, you know, once a person tells you what is their favorite movie scene, you can kind of see a pattern in like with them. Like, I usually ask for more than one, so I can like kind of try and find a pattern, like what's common between all of these three scenes. But this helps you find their flavor, what are they into. And also, most people, if they like me, I personally, if you were to ask me what's my favorite movie sex scene, I will tell you the sex scene and I'll tell you what I don't like about them. So if a person did not express to me what they didn't like about the scene, because I'll ask, what did you like about the scene? And then they tell me what they liked about the scene and what didn't you like about the scene. And they will tell me what they don't like about the scene, and I would then find out like what they like and what they don't like when it comes to sex. But this does not like, I do not draw a conclusion basically on that question, but it just helps me give me an idea. The second thing that I do when it comes to choosing a potential BDSM partner for me is, I try and I ask them a question like, firstly I ask myself, do they have what turns me on as a dom? I'm a sub, personally. I'm a sub and I choose to be a sub. I can be both a sub and a dom, but I personally choose to be a sub. It has nothing to do with my personality, it's just my choice. So I just ask what turns me on about a dom. Like, what am I looking for in a dom? For example, I look for playfulness. I like a playful person. Like, when it comes to a sexual partner, I would like a person to be a little bit more playful. And if a person, like, the potential is a bit more playful, I'm like, okay, they're playful, let's move on to the next one. And the next one, do they have the sense of bossiness? Like, there's some people who are just bossy. There's good bossy and there's very bad bossy. There is, I'm telling you, my word is low type of bossy, and there is what's your conclusion on this type of bossy? Like, I thought about this, and what do you think about it? You know, I'm involved type of bossy. So is he bossy or is she bossy? Is she showing any traits of being bossy? That's one thing that is a turn on to me. And another thing, are they a nurturing person? If they're a nurturing person, then it's exactly what I'm looking for. For me, nurturing is a huge turn on. I like being babied, I like being taken care of, I like being nurtured in general. And another thing, are they a friendly person? So you can find that you have that one specific guy who's only just friendly to you and mean to everybody else. I don't like that. Like, be okay with everybody else, but be overly friendly with me. Are they a friendly person? So if they're a friendly person to me, then they become a 10 on. So that helps me decide if I can carry on with this hot conversation, or I can engage in this type of relation. And what I give off, if I see a potential partner for me, I become very thoughtful. I become a thoughtful person. Like, I'll do those little things for you, and like I like the basic stuff. Like, I'll cook for you. Like, I'll do those thoughtful things for you. And another one is I become a pleaser. So seeing you happy, seeing you pleased becomes my priority. Like, if I'm like that with you, I'm like, oh, definitely the one. Like, I should definitely try and see something with this. So once I become a pleaser around a particular person, I'm like, is there more to this? Is there more? Why do I enjoy pleasing them so much? And I like gaining approval, like, from a particular person that I like, not just everybody, but I like gaining approval from a potential partner. I'm a sugar baby, so like, I like to make daddy happy type of situation. And I communicate. I'm a bad communicator in every other aspect of my life, from jobs I've worked, from friends that I have. They know I'm a bad communicator. But once I start communicating with a particular person, I then see them as a potential partner, because why am I communicating with you? Why is it so important for you to know what's going on, and when is it gonna go down? Like, I then see you as a potential. Another thing is, personally, me, I'm a firm believer of the goddess philosophy. So if you firmly believe in that too, I'm like, yeah, yeah, you got me. Like, those are the basic ones. They're not the only ones, but those are the basic ones. So you firstly look, how are they coming off, like, when they're around you. I look for how are they coming off when they're around me, and how am I coming off when they're around. Therefore, I then see them as a potential partner. The things that are a total turn off, that just are a buzzkill when I'm looking for a potential partner and I just find out they this, is when they're total SLUT. Like, a person who sleeps around, to me, is a turn off. You can be the best dom that I've ever met, but as soon as I find out that you sleep around, sorry honey, bye. Like, I'm not about that, and I'm not about to be about that. Like, a person who just sleeps around for the sake of it is a total turn off to me. I'm an alpha male. I can sleep with any woman that I want. Sorry, not me. Sorry, not happening. Not me. Like, for me, sexual activities are very sensitive, are very spiritual. So I'm not gonna engage with just anybody who engage with everybody, because I don't want to exchange my spirit with that person, and I don't want that person's spirit to be exchanged with mine. Like, I am very sensitive when it comes to that, so I don't need nobody who sleeps around. Another buzzkill is someone who says my word is low. Like, there's some guys who you find that they're not really doms, but they are abusive, or they are the my word is low type of people. And then you tell them, hey, I'm into BDSM, and then I go, good, I'm also into BDSM. And then the next thing you find, all they say is what goes. And I'm like, for me personally, that's not it. Like, I'm included in every single decision that we make. We are making the decision together. You are not making a decision by yourself. So your word is definitely not law in this relationship. And one thing I hate the most, this is the most important one, and this is a total turn off, is a person who do not communicate. Have you ever imagined, like, being in a relationship with someone and they just pop up? They didn't tell you they're coming. They didn't ask if it's okay to come over. Knock knock, I'm outside your door. That can be sexy once or twice, but not an everyday thing. No, not at all. Like, it's, no, don't do it. Like, a third thing that I turn to, like, ask when I see a potential partner is, have you ever engaged in any power exchange? The reason I ask this is because, it becomes, for me personally, it becomes very hard to train a dom. Like, I'm a sub, and I really, really hate training doms, because I am not sure whether it's their personality or they're trying to please me. So I asked, have you ever been engaged in any power exchange? If they say they have been engaged in any power exchange, I then ask, were you like a dom or a sub? Or were you the one in control? Or were you the one giving another person the responsibility of being in control of your pleasure? And then they tell me, like, if they have been the one who gave up total control, and then I then ask them, are you willing uh to be in control of someone? If they say yes, then we go on. Like if they say no, then like I'm obviously not gonna carry on with that person, because again, I'm a sub and I'm looking for someone to give the responsibility of my pleasure to. And then the next important thing I do is just, if yes, they are interested in this, have they done it or not, it's not important. But the important part is, do they want to be engaged? Are they a perfect fit for me? I then ask for the limits. What are your limits? What are the things you never do? Like there's some guys who will never ever do anal for them. It's not something they will do. There are also some girls who will never ever do anal. There's also some girls who will never do vaginal penetration. They just want to do anal. So it's different things for different folks. So I then ask, what are your limits? And then I found out their limits, because sometimes you can be in this particular relationship with a person, and then you find out that their limits is part of your fuck list, and then you don't know what to do. Like the whole relationship crumbles. Like find the limits, like from the get-go. What are the hard limits? What are your soft limits? Like hard limits are things that you'd absolutely never ever do. Like your partner should not even try and convince you in this day and age. Maybe tomorrow they can try but right now they shouldn't. And then soft limits are things that I personally am, for me, soft limits are things that I'm unsure of. I'm still thinking about it, and I haven't made a decision about it. But for now, they're off the table. And I always also ask, do you know how you respond to certain things? Like for me, for example, I know how I respond to certain things. Like if you were to tie my arms, like with handcuffs, with the tie, with anything, that would be an instant turn off for me. Because that to me is screaming RAPE. But if you were to like hold my hand like in this position or over my head, that's a turn on for me. I know they kind of like close to each other, but for me they're in a different spectrum. The other one is a turn on, the other one is a total turn off, and I'm sure I'll be traumatized. My brain would instantly say I want to escape if you were to tie my hands with any form of object, or if I were to be trapped anyway. So like it will be a total turn off. And just ask what certain things are, and like how do they respond to certain things. Like how do you respond to a butt plug? How do you respond to me being totally in control? How do you respond to me just like while you're asleep and I just initiate sex? Like I don't wait for you to wake up and I start touching you. Just find out how they feel about certain things, because this helps. You can find that it's a turn on for them and you've never been able to express this to them, and it's a turn on to you and you have no way to express this to them. So find out how they respond. And another thing is, I always ask, have you experienced both sides? My friends always say this is like asking a guy, are you bisexual? But I always ask, have you ever experienced both sides? Have you ever been a sub? Have you ever been a dom? Because there's some people you find that they got introduced into this lifestyle by being a sub first, and then they realize they like being a dom. So I ask, have you ever experienced both sides? Which one did you enjoy more? So if you did enjoy more being a sub and you want me to be a dom, like I then make my decision there whether I want to be a dom or not. There's some people you look at and be like, I definitely want to dominate this one. There's some people you look at and like, I want him to dominate me, So it differs. So asking that question just opens up how a person wants to engage in this particular relationship that you could potentially be engaged in. The fourth thing is, I ask them what do they find attractive about being a dom or being a sub? Because now we have established that I'm a sub. Now the next thing that I need to find is what turns you on about being a dom. Or if I've said to you I'm a dom, like I now need to find out what turns you on about being a sub. So is it the idea of being bullied, or the idea of bullying someone, or is it the idea of feeling smaller, or the idea of feeling bigger than a particular person? Is it the whole idea of feeling fear, not knowing what's gonna happen next, or is it the idea of like, no, this shit ain't happening, like she ain't doing this to me? Like, you know, that whole shock factor, like you're like, what the F is she doing type of situation? Or is it like being served? You like being served as a person, or you just like doing the serving. So you then find out what they get, like what gets them going, and you then match them with who you are and your personality. Are they looking for a server? Are you a server? Because a person can be looking for a server and then you find out you're definitely not a server. You are not a server at all. You are more on like, you like being humiliated. Why didn't this word want to come out? But you like being humiliated, and they don't want to humiliate anyone. I remember I had a partner who definitely did not like the idea of spanking me, because guys, like the first thing that most people think of when I talk about BDSM is that they have to spank me. No, I don't like being spanked. No, thank you. Like you can do like you know, that tiny thing, or grab my, like I'm more like, I like being grabbed, like rather than being spanked. So most people just think that I want to be tied up and beat up. No, not at all. So find out. The last thing that I find out is the F list or the fuck list. What is your fuck list? What is your wish list? What do you want to do? Like, what is your fantasy? What are those things that you're still looking to try that you haven't tried as yet? So I try and find those, because you know, from those you guys can be a lot more creative. Like, I want to do an boat, I want to do art stuff. Like, their bucket list tells you which direction you're gonna go, and you can find that they have a longest bucket list. The relationship will never be boring because you're gonna be following that bucket list, especially if it matches up with you, or you have no problem with fulfilling things that they are looking for from that bucket list. So yeah, those are the things I personally look for when it comes to getting a potential partner, and they help me find the best partner that I need in that particular moment. And you can try them out, but these are just personally what I look for. I'm not saying it should be a blueprint for any other sub or anybody else. So guys, please do not forget to leave me a like, a comment down below, and tell me what things do you personally look for when you are looking for a potential BDSM partner. And guys, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and that's how I'm gonna grow and just know what type of content I should be putting out.